All right, guys, welcome to the show, The Stars. Today it's Beirano and Fedor. We got little Beirano over here, and Ashton's still asleep.
Yeah.
Hey, Ash. Oh, I know. Hey, man, what's up, guys?
What's going on, man? Early Sunday morning?
Yeah, early Sunday morning. Changed the clocks last night.
I know, dude. We've been out here for a while. Awesome city council meeting.
Oh, wow.
We'll start with that first, and then go into some school stuff.
Barn burner of a council meeting. There was, I think we talked about in our last video where we talked about the agenda, and sure enough, that item was pulled from the consent calendar.
Oh, man.
And it was discussed, and I was sitting out there, second row, right behind, right behind the butcher of Selma, Jimmy, and it was intense, boy.
Wow. So what it was about was the mayor filing a complaint against the city, or it looks like against the city manager. Probably it sounds what it sounded like.
Yeah, right.
And then the mayor recused himself from the discussion.
Correct.
But before he did, he went down to the dais and spoke.
Well, he left the dais, went down to the podium.
Oh, that's right.
So he spoke as a citizen, which he is. He's still a citizen, right?
Yeah. He's always the mayor too, though.
But he's always the mayor, right? But so at about 1 hour, 25 minutes into the meeting, and in fact, you can see it if you're fast forwarding through the meeting, you see his seat get empty, right?
Yeah.
That's when he walks down to the podium and he makes this little speech that he was reading from his phone. I was sitting right there watching him.
Wow.
And he made his speech, and then he leaves the room, and the feeding frenzy began.
Oh, man.
It was really. Jim Avalos, of course, he got up and spoke. You know what was really interesting, though, in that meeting, prior to that, and I'm sure they all knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Right? We knew what was coming.
Yeah,
We were just two guys in a garage.
Yeah.
Right? So, what was interesting is Avalos was there, and he started speaking about what was coming, right, which was an agendized item, and Scott let him go. Now, remember, Scott's been on this kick where he says, oh, you need to address the council. You need to address the council.
Yeah.
But he allowed Avalos to do his thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Avalos was just there trying to protect Mr. Roberts.
He was showing support for his
boy,
his buddy.
guy.
So that was interesting. But then once Scott left the room, then people started talking, and it was wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty obvious that Mr. Robertson, the mayor, didn't think that this would be an open item.
I don't think so.
So
here's the deal. I think, my opinion would be that he thought this was going to be treated as a personnel item.
Yeah.
And as we know, personnel items are confidential, right?
Yep.
But, and Blanca did a good job of bringing this up, you are not city personnel. As an elected official, you are not personnel.
Yep.
Right? You don't work for the city. And Scott made a big deal about how we need to be treated as employees of the city. Wait.
Yeah,
You're not an employee, you're an elected official. Big difference. You're the boss. Act like one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's exactly right.
And really, that's kind of what Blanca said. Blanca said, hey, I know these rules. And the reason I know this, and she said all of that, is because she went through the same thing. Remember when she first got on?
Yeah. She also talked about thick skin.
Oh, boy.
Like this guy, thick skin.
She did. She said she was told multiple times at the beginning of her term that she just needed to get thick skin.
Yeah.
And well, it appears that some people,
the mayor,
some people are saying, do as I say, not as I do, kind of deal.
Mr. Mayor, the hypocrite, man.
So, once again, consistently inconsistent. I mean, that's...
Oh, man. Hey, Bay Rod, did you see that?
I did. Absolutely.
Oh, man. What'd you think about that part, dude? Hey, you used to work for the city.
I did.
Hey, you know what? I was in that room, and it was weird because once Scott left the room, I almost felt bad for the little fella.
Nah, man.
I mean, it was, and and usually there's in the back corner over here, there's heckling and noise and riprap
Quiet
and stuff going
night.
on. Nothing that night, boy. It was quiet.
Yeah. How about the 6 wannabe member? The wife.
That's
so Jim Avalos and his wife kept going up there.
Well,
yeah, dude, it's just like, oh, it was hard to watch.
Well, and so what did it say at the end, at the close of his letter? At the close of his letter, he said he wanted $5,000 every time to that the city manager contacted him, right, outside of a meeting.
Yeah.
And then that $5,000 would be payable to a 501c3 of his choosing. But then he also said that he wanted health insurance for he and his wife till they were 65.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that part, and maybe that's in the redacted portion.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
he's making requirements like
Yeah.
that. But Councilman Trujillo, right? So Councilman Trujillo actually brought up the fact, he says, wait a minute, this guy sells insurance. And he wants
He wants the taxpayer to pay.
he wants the taxpayer, he said he wants you to pay for his health insurance. He's an insurance salesman.
Oh man.
So that was pretty interesting. You know, another thing that I thought, Sarah Gary, his sister-in-law and business partner and cohort, right?
She actually voted for it.
She voted for it.
She voted for it. So it ended up being
Right.
3-1. So she voted for the taxpayers
Correct.
to pay Mr. Robertson.
She was
out.
the only one. Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, she wanted that thing.
Wow.
And thank goodness the other three were saying, whoa, 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 hang
Well,
on.
they're also partners too.
Well, partners,
In business.
related and everything.
Wow.
But man, she was at one point.
I
Well,
forgot about that.
when she was talking, she was kind of yelling.
She was mad.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
yelling. And you know what's
Family
funny?
member.
Hey, you know what's funny? And I love this these little things that you do. If you're not paying attention, you're not going to catch. Is how they say names.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the whole. You know, they were rolling their R's and everything, and they can speak. You know, they can make it sound real authentic when they're saying anybody else's name, but then they come to Trujillo, and this wedo can even say Trujillo, right?
Yeah.
And there it's Trujillo. And for me, every time they would say my name, they would say Fidor.
Fidor.
You know, but I don't care what you call me, but
Yeah.
and I'm sure they call me stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I'm hogging up the mic.
No,
So,
no.
I was there. It
You're
was
giving the spill on it.
yeah, I was there. It was intense. Yvette Montijo got up.
Ooh.
She's a former councilwoman.
Ooh.
And I would love to have
Yeah,
I would love to have a show. We need to do this where we bring her
Bring
in.
her in.
Yeah, because she ran out. So she used up her 3 minutes, and baby, she was just getting going
Wow.
when her 3 minutes was up. So I'd love to bring her in and
Yeah,
let
yeah.
her finish her 3 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be great. And you know what? Right when Caesar showed up this morning, I was watching it. She said something about that Mr. Robertson, his narcissistic ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really got him, man. That Mr. Robertson can't stay in his lane. This is why it's happening. And, you know, and that goes back to Mr. Trio saying a lot of this is happening because he doesn't want to be told no.
Well, where was the complaint? Where was the when he was in the majority at the 3-2, when he was part of the 3, it was never a big deal, right? There was Franco and I think Trujillo were on. They weren't writing letters. They weren't telling the city they're going to
that's
charge
right.
him.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
it was always, hey, you need to get tougher, thicker skin.
Yeah, so he looked really bad, man. What'd you think, Verano, man?
I was watching it and
Oh, dude.
I just hope that our city can move forward, soon, and they resolve it somehow. I don't know what.
You can't pay him out, though. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
I enjoy that, to see that our city is finally moving forward with certain things in town. They're started knocking down the old Rallies building. I don't know that what's going to go in there, and then the repaving of Golden State all the way through town. So
Yeah.
it looks like it's going in the right direction now. So
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so the day-to-day operations comes from the city manager. He's the head of it.
Yep.
And so I think that's where I don't want to say disconnect, but that's where there's
but
an issue.
But I also think it's a push from our city council to go in that direction.
Oh yeah,
And,
for sure.
and the majority is pushing for that to make Selma better.
Yeah,
which
no, you're exactly
every
right.
community member deserves that.
Yeah.
Every kid deserves that.
Yeah.
And this is why elections matter, right?
Ooh, they matter, man.
It's not
They
just a
matter.
vote for the popular kid kind of thing. Now, remember the city hasn't. When was the last track that went in? I think we have one track over that's
On
kind of
Highland
going,
and Saginaw.
kind of going over there. It's not huge, but remember that directly affects the schools, right? Because if we don't have families coming in. And our ADA, right, our average daily attendance, we don't have the kids to put in those schools.
Yeah.
Everything is tied together.
No, it is.
Well, no one's going to come to Selma with their kids when our test scores are garbage and our crime
Get
is
right to the
high.
point, so you're going to love it.
Hey, that's
18 out of 21, man.
That's the reality of it.
We're 18 out of 21.
No one is going to spend $500,000 at a home when our test scores are what they are, and then our crime.
That would certainly be a concern if you were coming here with kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The housing, the schools. I mean.
Well, that's I think what that website, that niche.com.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's great.
It helps you find all that.
And a lot of that information comes from the California Department of Education.
And our city is bringing more police officers. You know, so they're working on that. But we got to get there.
Yeah.
We got to get there. Whether it's the city or the schools, whether increase the test scores, and they do matter. I mean, you test for everything.
Yeah.
From a spelling test when you're, I believe it starts 2nd grade to 6th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't matter, then
you take
why
a
are
test.
you doing it?
Yeah, you take a test for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
That's how you check your knowledge, right?
Right.
We all do it. And for when people say they don't matter, that's ridiculous.
I
Maybe
did-
they don't matter. They're bad for you.
I had to take a test to become a contractor, right?
Yeah,
License, driver's license.
Acceptance to university,
No.
acceptance to a,
It's not the end all be all.
no.
But it's a knowledge
But
check.
it's a milestone saying, okay, where are we? What are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I took some courses last week or the week before. I take the course, and at the end, knowledge check, and you have to get a certain percentage to pass. End of story, man.
It's
You have
pretty
to do
common
it.
sense, man.
Yeah, it's common sense. You ain't gonna get away from it. The people that talk like that are probably the people behind not supporting or having bad scores or whatever.
And you know what? It happens, but correct it.
Yeah.
If you want a certain amount on your paycheck, correct it. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, 100%. So from the school stuff, going back to the city real quick. So the mayor wanted, filed a complaint. He wants to be paid out. Or he wanted them to accept the claim.
Yeah, he wanted an MOU, right? It said MOU at the end of
Yeah.
that letter, and I don't understand the basis for that, or
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like so something else is going on because the city manager even gives a spill about his integrity. So there's a back and forth going on.
right.
So my personal opinion on the outside, just watching everything and been watching for years, is that there's issues with the mayor trying to micromanage the city manager. I could be wrong. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, from what I've seen, I would tend to agree with that. It just seems like, hey, just stay in your lane, do your job.
Stay in your lane.
Right.
And off of that one, now going back to the schools, stay in your lane. There's a meeting tomorrow night.
Stay in your lane, bro.
And I did a little bit back and forth with the SUDA, which is Selma Unified Teacher Association president, on social media because they posted that meeting, and it does tell you that it's a it tells you that it's the teachers of Selma Unified organizing a town hall meeting. The purpose is to provide a platform for teachers' leadership team to listen to concerns from the community. Problem number one is, for me, is reading this. It's even though it says who's putting it on, it still seems like a school district function, even though it's not. It's not sponsored by the school district.
Right.
It's a union. It looks like a union thing. That's number one. Number two, and not to be harsh, but like you mentioned, the test scores being so bad. I mean, why are you wanting to hear the voices of the people? That's why we elected certain
Right,
people.
Right.
Well, they have
That's
no
their
authority.
job.
They have no authority.
They don't make decisions. But my biggest personal problem with this is I don't want the parents to be fooled.
Right.
Or to understand.
Yeah, that is not.
You're not going to your they are not your representative.
That's not a sanctioned event.
Exact by the school district.
Right. Right.
So if you want to talk to somebody about what's going on in the schools and voice your concerns, you talk to Mr. Fedor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
One of them. I mean, there's 5 of us, right?
Yeah, there's 5.
So any
Yeah.
one of the 5
Yeah.
representatives,
You talk to your board members.
Mhm.
You can talk to your
share your concerns, and
Yeah.
and we go from there.
Yeah. So, I mean, should we talk about that meeting tomorrow night? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's happening. So they're having a meeting. So SUDA is having a meeting. Now, who's SUDA, right? I think that's important to understand.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So say SUDA doesn't work for the district,
nope.
right? The teachers work for the district,
Yep.
and the teachers are members of SUDA. SUDA is a union organization.
Yeah. Now it's important to understand too that the teachers work for the district works for the people.
Correct.
And the teachers are public servants.
Exactly, public service. So, Mr. Bejarano, so this is a good little panel, right? You got Mr. Fedor, newly elected board member. I'm an old board member. Bejarano not only is on the parent club, school site council, he was the SROs. He was the SRO
Oh, yeah.
for our schools.
Right.
Very well respected and a kid's first advocate. All three of us.
Right.
So, and we're all kind of in the know. Mr. Fedor knows the internal stuff, but we don't.
But I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, man. Go ahead.
You don't have to answer this. Just remember why you ran for your position, please. When you make decisions.
Kids first.
Kids.
That's it.
That's it.
Period.
No one runs for a union.
If you're not for our kids, then why are you sitting there
Exactly.
in those positions? Why? What's your point?
Yeah. So then the battle becomes Mr. Fedor is in there for the kids, but now you see the whole adult aspect now.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what's funny is you bring up the unions. I'd love to tell the story about when I was running,
Tell it.
and that was when. And so the union sent out this flyer, and I'd love to make that.
And we could do video on
Yeah, publish it. But they said, well, we want to know who to endorse in your race. And I said, hey, let's get this straight. I'm not looking for your endorsement. I don't even want it.
that. Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I told you that. I said, but if I'm elected, we are going to have to work together. And here it is. We're working together, right? Trying to, anyways. And so let's start the dialogue now. But it doesn't seem like there's any dialogue. It's this is the way it's going to be. And I go, wait a minute.
They're trying to tell you what to do.
They're telling me what to do. Well,
Who do you listen to, them or to?
I listen to you guys. You guys are my boss.
Yeah,
And not them.
Exactly, and you know what? Mrs. Kelsler needs to know that. Mr. Medina needs to know that. I think he
Well,
does. Mr. Sahota needs to know that. Mrs. Alanis, because you don't work for the employee.
No, Mr. Sahota's in my district. He's my
He's
representative.
your rep, man.
So that's what I expect.
You have to bring him in here.
I expect that because as a dad, as a member of the community, that's what we want for our kids. And I say we because I'm a firm believer that most parents want that for their kids. Want that best for their kids.
Oh,
So the fight's always about, what's the biggest fight since you've been there? It's money, probably.
Oh,
It's always money when I was there.
Yeah, I would say that's it. Yeah, it's money. Money.
Yeah.
Money for whom?
For the teachers.
So
So-
they think by paying them more, you help the kids. The other side of it is no, give the money directly to the kids, right?
That's who deserves it.
That's who deserves it. So how do you do that? So here's the quick story. Last year, we told them 2.28. We weren't going to budge, but you know what we said? Well, we could do a lot of stuff with that money, and we did, and we were. And because it is about the kids, so once it always becomes about the kids, they have to take a back seat. So I think what's happened now, you got a new board, so now here they come with this crap.
Well, it's got to be about the kids. What they, wrestling, right? We went.
Yeah.
You and I went and talked to the
Oh, yeah.
wrestlers. And I asked a question when we were there that night. I'd like to know how many kids out of Selma Unified do we send out with athletic scholarships versus academic scholarships?
Ooh, that's a good point. It's a
Right.
good point.
And if we're sending a lot more out with athletic scholarships, which I've heard rumblings that's what happens, then why aren't we dumping more money into the athletics?
Oh, it's a great point.
Right?
Why not?
Okay, this is already happening. This is winning right now. Let's continue. Let's continue it.
And let's continue it by giving our wrestling program a facility that they've earned.
Supporting them, yeah, absolutely.
And our kids.
Yeah.
And it's not only one generation, next generation, it's many generations to come.
Yeah.
And they deserve it, they've earned it.
So, yeah. So the budget's always kind of fluid, right? They've talked about that in the past, but now comes Measure L. Measure L.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Measure L, and I talked to Mr. Medina about this, I talked to all of them about this before, in the past, and I was there. So if you're going to ask the community to support Measure L, you ain't going to be turning around and giving out these big money.
Right.
You give it to our kids.
Exactly.
Give it to our kids.
So if the money now, if you have more money comes in, which is what the union will want, right? Basically, I would say, no, man, that money, if there's any extra money or new money, it's going for the kids. Build that wrestling facility. Now, from the meeting before last, on YouTube when I was watching it, I saw the counter offer by Suda, and it puts a lot of money on the payroll, ongoing money. So one of the things I think we talked about that on the last video was you could have your own police.
About how much?
Cops on. I think it was like 2.5 or 2.6 million at that time.
So this will be forever.
Ongoing payroll money. That's what they had on the video.
Right.
So it was there. So you know, it was in open public. Dr. Shepard was actually talking about it. So you know, from the outside, I'm seeing if you're gonna now, we pass Measure L, you're gonna tax, and the people are taxing themselves. You know, to help the schools, I don't want to see ongoing money going for, you know, raises. I want to see that money going, you know, like I said, facilities, wrestling facilities, or even like our own little, like what they do in Clovis, man, have their little police unit in their schools. You know, that's my personal opinion. You know, and Measure L, you know, should be a big topic.
Well, and it's not only Measure L, you have Measure O as well.
Yeah, Measure O, and then we hit them with Measure L. So when I was there, Measure L was to help finish updating all the schools, you know, fixing the schools and updating them. And my whole thing was fine, but don't turn around and give away more money.
Give it to our kids.
Yeah. Use it directly to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a whole different ballgame. I mean,
right.
Whenever there's a contract, because I know there was Suda sent out some stuff about an impasse, and so whenever we get down to it, whenever there's actually something signed, then we can break it down. But and what should have went for our kids if something happens, right? I mean, that's just as a father now, an active father that, you know, pays attention to the board. You know what? My information is coming from the board meetings. Joel don't tell me nothing extra. Yeah, I tell him shit from the board meetings that I watch, city council meetings that I watch.
Well, and not only that, it's as soon as they sign a contract, it's going to start all over again because it's a 1-year contract, correct?
Yeah, I don't even know yet. I mean, yeah, I mean, typically it's 1 year, and they always say,
I'm brand new.
Yeah, so what they say is you don't want to go because it's always fluid. You don't want to do a multi-year contract, but if you're going to give away the farm, then
So you're kidding me? We got to go through this again right away?
yeah, dude, I feel sorry for you, man. But there's always ways to do it, right?
Right.
I mean, when I was there, it was like, hey, it's 2.28, we ain't moving, and you're gonna come crying. I'm gonna tell you my kid's coming first, so you already lost that battle. So I think once that's actually put out there, and then it depends too on the board, right? If the whole board is on it, then it is what it is.
Right.
But you know, if you got people that are, you know, weak in the knees.
Well,
so
you
to
can't be
speak,
weak in the knees for our kids.
You shouldn't be.
You're in that position for our kids.
Exactly.
If you're not sitting in that chair for our kids, then why are you there?
Exactly. Yeah.
If the decision isn't for our kids, you're just hindering them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely not acceptable.
Yeah. Not to put Fedor on the
No.
spot, but hey, but you get to hear it from parents right here
No, not only
live.
that, he works for us.
This is unscripted. Yeah.
Hey, I'm basically sitting here. Check this out, Selma. I'm sitting here in front of my bosses and listening to what they're wanting.
And
that's the way it works.
And it's not about
Absolutely,
us. It's
yeah.
about every single parent and every single kid
Yeah.
in this community.
Now, this isn't an attack on the union.
No, absolutely not. No.
What this is we're telling them through our representative.
Employee.
Through our representative that we want more for our kids, and we think what was going on was fair. I mean, from what I saw in the meeting, I mean, I was there when they made their best final offer. So, you know, so yeah, like I said, not an attack, and they get all butthurt when you say things, but you know what? If you go to niche, we're number one in pay. We're out of 21 on average. From all the 21 schools we pulled up and school districts that we pulled up, out of 21, we were number one on average. California Department of Education is where they get a lot of their information. So, I don't know where everybody else is getting theirs now. But we're number one on average, but out of those 21, we're 18 in scores. So, I mean...
You know what? So, okay, explain. I think it would help to explain the steps and columns. So, a teacher can get a raise just by putting in effort, correct? If they get more education, more units?
Yes, yeah.
They can move over
yeah,
home.
Yeah, so more units, more pay.
So really, if you work harder, now it does go by years as well.
Yeah.
So there's
Service.
years,
Yeah.
but then there's also education. So if
Yeah.
you want more money, put in the effort,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Get more education.
Now, here's the other thing. If you want to be paid as much as an administrator, then become an administrator.
There's that.
And that's true, too. You know, man, yeah. Yeah, if you
If
want
the
to make...
focus was on our kids, nothing else would matter.
Right.
Exactly.
Focus on your kids. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing
So-
else would matter.
Yeah.
If
So-
you want to move up and be a principal, assistant superintendent, then focus on that.
Yeah.
If you want to be a teacher, then focus on our kids.
That's it. So the union aspect is what actually kind of, in my opinion, hurts the district. You know what? Do your job. If you're there to teach, you teach. You get the administrators, basically the managers, and then it goes up to CEO, superintendent, and then you got to answer to like the board, right? A board, and
And the board has to answer to the people.
the people, man. It's a big circle. So when you lose sight of it, then this is what happens. I mean, SUDA doesn't really have any legs to stand on when our scores are so bad. Not really, right? I mean, what am I as a parent going to get out of giving them a massive raise? If you can guarantee me Clovis Unified School scores, hey, then go ahead and give it to them. I'll be an advocate for them. But until we get into the top 5, I'm not going to be an advocate for them. As a matter of fact, I want to know what they're going to do if they get more money.
How can our board justify even doing that?
We'll find out. Whenever it happens. Hey, it's a mayor on it. Don't play around.
How can you justify?
Yeah. Well, you really can't.
Whether
But
it's
the people
Vidor,
don't know.
whether it's El Anise, whether it's Sahoda,
Yeah.
whether it's Medina or Kessler, how can you justify that?
Yeah. Well, we don't even know what's happening.
No,
yet.
no,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we're just basically saying we know that it's moving forward,
Right.
and we want more money for the kids.
That's it. Common sense.
Come. Sorry, Miss Fedor.
I can say,
Common sense.
I agree. I
Sorry,
agree.
man. We're whipping you, dude, with that shit.
I want more for the kids. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. But basically, we're just dads talking, man. This is the garage talk, right? If we were sitting here having a beer, this is what we'd be talking
Well, I
about.
like it. Garage talk.
Yeah, garage talk, man.
Well, and
It's a good time. Garage talk. Yeah. And hey.
And ultimately, again, I'm going to say it again. No, it's not only because you're here, Fedor, but everyone else that sits on that board. Why did you run? Why are you in that chair?
run? Yeah. And then you go back to that meeting where I was talking about the meeting where they were putting the numbers up. You have Mr. Medina talking about it doesn't make sense. Don't make sense to do some of this stuff. So you don't want to go in that situation where it was in 2018, where now you have to start cutting. You got to start layoffs. You got to start cutting because you didn't watch your money. Because the projections are bad. SUDA themselves, Mrs. Klein even mentioned declining enrollment,
Right.
which means less money.
Right.
And
So-
again, you hurt families, them employees that you have to let go.
Yeah.
We've heard our own people from Selma.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. So anyway, just garage talk.
There it is, man.
There it is, Mr. Fedor out of here from a couple dads.
That's all right. I got thick skin.
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin in that. So the city council, remember, you got a mayor who cries about being fiscally responsible, don't want to spend money on the code of conduct, having an attorney look at it, but then yet he's willing to take all your money, pay for 10 years of insurance, according to Mr. Trio. Wow. Wow, man.
Consistently
Inconsistent, man. Wow. Well, hey, man, that's just what's going on recently, so.
I'm done getting my ass chewed, so.
Yeah. Sorry, Fedor. I just wouldn't piss this guy off.
No, it's a.
It's-
Well,
yeah,
it's
no,
simple, man.
yeah, we see it,
it's
man.
our kids, you know.
Hey, you know a lot of that bullshit. You were that cop. You were a cop on campus, man.
Oh, when we had security in Iraq,
The rock class. Oh, man. Another story.
it's another story for another day. But you know, I really commend you for taking the heat and trying to do the right thing for our kids. I
Yeah.
see you at a lot of functions. I try to go to certain functions that I'm able to attend, but thank you, people echo You know, that
I'm not
you
the
show
only
up.
Yeah, I'm not the only one doing it.
No, yeah.
And my fellow board members are doing
yes.
it. It takes a lot of effort, and
Yeah.
but it's why we ran, man.
Yeah, definitely a tough job, and
It will give you a new appreciation, boy. I'll tell you.
oh yeah. So a lot of people don't understand it. They think you go on the board and then you could do all these things, but no,
it's
it
baby
doesn't work.
steps.
Like, yeah,
baby steps.
It don't work like that. Yeah, and then you see the other side of it. You see the adult side of it, which is the union side, basically, right? And then you get to hear all the internal stuff. When I was hearing the internal stuff back in the day, it blew me away, man. And I used to always think if parents only knew.
You know what?
And you know what's beautiful about that? That these little segments help parents.
Oh yeah, man.
Aren't
Hey,
allowed
man,
to attend certain meetings.
Yeah, a couple
you know?
people watch it and say, "Hey, Ben Ronald's right. Mr. Fedora's badass. Let's go."
And hey man, I'll be the first one. If I make a mistake, please let me know. I'm not that difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah, same here.
But I just want our district to be better.
Yeah.
For our kids, for our future.
Yep.
Future of Selma.
Yep.
Future of the Fresno
Schools,
County.
yeah, schools and city.
No, absolutely. Like I said, the city looks like they're moving forward. They're doing a lot of great work with development, holding people accountable.
You're gonna have to.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
I'm gonna go lick my wounds, man.
That wasn't that bad. You just heard it from some dads. Hey, we're just some dads, man. This is what we see.
And it's not, and it's not personal, man.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
No.
Attack on anybody on the board or any of our teachers. It's
straight up talk.
It's straight up talk. Common sense. Our kids are first. That's our future.
That's it. 100%.
100%, man. All right, guys. Please like and subscribe. Be around.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man. Fedora, keep it up.
Try it.